Welcome back. Now, tomorrow will be exactly 1 year since South Africa went into a strict level 5 lockdown. The hospitality industry is unarguably one of the most heavily affected over the last year. More than 1,000 restaurants have closed their doors, largely due to the prolonged alcohol ban. To take a look back at the impact on the restaurant sector, I'm joined by Natalie Wilson, Food24 and Eat Out head of food. Very good morning to you, Natalie. Thank you for your time. I mean, it is no secret that the restaurant and food industry, they are right up there with the most affected in the past 364 days. Are you even able to tell me exactly how many restaurants had to be closed down?
Morning, Nandi. Yes. Well, it's been a real challenge, actually, to keep track of everything that's been going on because, of course, it's such an ever-moving picture. Of course, at the start of lockdown level 5, at the start of lockdown in March, all restaurants were affected. You know, every single restaurant was asked to close their doors by government. So that's no small thing to consider. And it seemed like a bit of an indefinite time frame for that at a stage. But we've been working with the Restaurant Association of South Africa through lockdown, and they've been doing a lot of work to lobby government to ensure transparency and help these affected businesses. And by late January of this year, when we were under level 3, as you'll remember, going from late December into January, they estimated that about 33% of their restaurants on their database, which comes to just over 3,600, actually were forced to close their doors at some stage. Now, of course, since then, levels have dropped to level 1, and many have reopened, but for some it's been impossible to do so. Yeah, for some it's been really the absolute closure of their business.
Yeah, and I mean, Eat Out did its best to help. I want you to talk to me a little bit about the Restaurant Relief Fund and just some of the work that has been done.
Yes, so it was incredible to see how at the start of lockdown, many restaurant kitchens quickly pivoted to become essentially communal kitchens to feed the needy. You know, they had staff who were willing to help. Many of them had food in the fridges or the freezers or had received donations of ingredients, and they had the desire to act. And that really inspired us. And so we launched the Eat Out Restaurant Relief Fund in April last year to channel charitable donations that we called for from corporate South Africa and from private individuals, really directly towards those kitchens. And so what it did a really good job of helping those kitchens to keep their staff paid and employed and, pay for the lights, keep the lights on and all the rest, while at the same time, it had a really beautiful dual purpose of helping to make sure that those people were using their time and efforts to feed people who really needed food at that time. So, it was a huge effort for our team. We found a lot of satisfaction and a lot of purpose in it as well, which was brilliant. And so we really sought to serve the industry during that time. And we raised just shy of 3 million rand. We were able to fund 55 restaurants to keep their doors open and indeed fund 33 of them again when they needed us. So, and create over 1 million meals. But we're not alone. There's been so much good work done within the industry, from private individuals just doing what can to organizations that already existed like Isabello and Ladles of Love. There's a huge amount of goodwill and work that went into helping people this time.
Yeah, I guess one of the positives was seeing people coming together, to work together to try and help as many as they could. And Natalie, over the past year, we spoke to many people from the restaurant and food industry. And although there weren't a lot of positives, one of them was that this forced them to almost adapt and reimagine and find different ways of thinking out of the box. Did this in some way also just help alleviate some of those stresses?
Definitely, yeah. I think it accelerated a lot of plans that had been sort of tinkling at the back of people's minds. A lot of businesses who hadn't had delivery on their books had to very quickly upscale into that, either privately by, just getting a car and getting someone in the car to deliver, or by harnessing the apps that exist in the market, really speaking to those big players like Uber Eats and Mr. Delivery. And I think there was a period under level 4 where you could only operate on a takeaway basis. That forced a lot of change. And there's a golden thread of technology all the way through those changes. I think that's been a huge help. And many businesses had to look for digital solutions, including the restaurant trade. There's also, for fine dining, luxury takeaways were sort of a brand new stream of business. And many restaurants, including Eat Out's top-rated in 2019, Le Colombe, had to look at luxury takeaways or takeaways that had that same level of fine dining that consumers were associating in their minds with that restaurant. And they looked to that as a solution to help fund their employees and keep their staff paid over that time. And that's incredibly powerful. Also, some chefs looked at private dining or catering. You know, some restaurants opened little mini delis in their spaces. And there's also a move towards potentially subscription models. You know, we've seen Kauai introduce that locally.
Yeah.
So there's some really interesting innovations that have come to pass.
All right. Thank you very much, Natalie. Hopefully things can only get better from here on forward. That was Natalie Wilson, Head of Food at Food24 and Eat Out.